1. Japanese lanterns festoon the outdoor gardens of the Kadapade. Their glow only seemed to add to the suffocatingly moist heat of the August night. The Kadapade was Calusa's art museum, a vast hacienda back when Florida was still a Spanish possession, renovated and refurbished in 1927 when its original name, Casa Don Pedro, was abbreviated to its present form. Calusa natives called it the Pade. My partner Frank called it the carport. The party on that 8th night of August was a formal affair in honor of Calusa's resident artists. Formal in Calusa, at least during the summer months, meant white dinner jackets and black ties for the men and long gowns for the women. Frank's wife was wearing a slinky black creation slit to her waist, the better to expose what Frank proudly called the family jewels. Like a juggler defying an expectant crowd, Leona kept daring one or the other of her precocious treasures to spill from the front of the gown, seemingly unaware of how dangerously close they were to indecent exposure. Frank was holding forth on his favorite topic. Frank is a lawyer, like myself, but he is also a transplanted New Yorker, than which there is nothing worse in the entire world. When a New Yorker moves to California, he will eventually stop reading the New York Times, and after a brief period of mourning, he will begin referring to New York as back east, as if it were a remote province somewhere in China. Most migrants to Florida will refer to New York or Chicago or Detroit or Pittsburgh or wherever they've come from as up north. But not my partner Frank. New York is New York is New York, and there is no place like it in the world, and any other city, country, or even continent is but a pale reflection of that glittering city Frank still thinks of as home. The Sunday New York Times cost him $2.50 down here. He would gladly pay a full month's draw for it. He is an impossible chauvinist, but he has been my partner for many years now, and he is a good lawyer and an endearing man when he is not comparing Calusa to the Big Apple. He was doing just that tonight, within earshot of the museum's curator, who I was certain did not enjoy hearing the Kadapade compared unfavorably to MoMA. I tried to hush him when he got on the topic of Calusa's pretensions to culture, but once Frank boarded the Lexington Avenue Express, there was no stopping him. If Calusa was a fat banker, Leona corrected. Were a fat banker, Frank said, and glanced into the open front of his wife's gown, as though discovering an enticing stranger. And if all its various writers, sculptors, and painters were the banker's mistresses, they would all pack their frilly underwear and leave tomorrow morning. Nowhere in America is the local talent so taken for granted as it is in this sad excuse for a real city. Frank's a New Yorker, Leona said to Dale, as though the obvious needed explanation and amplification. I should explain that Dale O'Brien is a woman. There are still many telephone callers to her office who ask for Mr. O'Brien, assuming that any lawyer named Dale O'Brien must also, and perforce, be a male. She is a female. Very much so. She is a female who is 5 feet 9 inches tall, and she has red hair she prefers to call russet, and glade green eyes, and a beautifully proportioned figure that was draped tonight in a shimmering green gown that matched her eyes. Those eyes seemed vacant and bored just now. Perhaps she had heard Frank sounding off once too often. Perhaps she was disenchanted by the insipid white wine the museum was serving in tribute to its honored artists. Or perhaps the heat and humidity had got to her. It is easy for the heat and humidity to get to you in Calusa during the month of August. I know a playwright down here, Frank went on. I believe you know him too, Matthew, who won the Drama Critics Circle Award back in his heyday, and who can't get a house seat at the Helen Gottlieb. Can you believe it? This is a man who can call any theater in New York and get 6-row center seats to the biggest hit, but he can't get a choice seat down here for any of the moth-eaten road shows that pass through. At the same time, of course, any time there's a charity benefit, no one will think twice about calling him and asking him to speak. The same applies to artists. The carport decides to honor the local painters and sculptors, right? Okay, so when does it throw its munificent party? On a Monday night in August. You won't find a goddamn iguana.